If you'd like to know a bit more about who I am, my background, and why I've started this channel, then you're in the right spot. Welcome to Genetimix. My name is Tim, and this channel is dedicated to genetics and a mix of science communication and critical thinking. So why am I here? There are ever-growing waves of misinformation in our public discourse, including both pseudoscience and outright science denial. It's my hope that by lending my voice to the conversation on the side of science and critical thinking, I might, in some small way, be able to contribute and help to turn the tide. Where am I from? What's my background? I have a degree in genetics with effectively a minor in immunology and a master's in information systems design. I never did get a PhD, mainly because I completely suck at lab work. Very fortunately for me, bioinformatics, basically crunching DNA data, is something you can do on a laptop in an office. You don't need to be anywhere near a laboratory. I have experience in software engineering and design, bioinformatics, and DNA diagnostics. A lot of my career has been spent explaining science, including biology, genetics, and immunology, to software folks to help them better understand the concepts and therefore build better software. I'm not a scientist by trade. I don't do scientific research for a living, but how I approach my studies and work follows sound scientific principles and is rooted in the vast mountains of scientific knowledge we have accumulated to date. I've done everything from software programming all the way up to founding and running companies, and worn pretty much every hat in between. For this project, my primary role will be that of a science communicator. I'm currently living in my 5th country and working on my 4th language, assuming we don't count Yorkshire and Swiss German as separate languages. I'm originally from Yorkshire in England. This might come up again, although I've lost the accent during my travels. I'm in a slightly temporary location at the moment, so apologies for the boring background. Unfortunately, we had a house fire a while back, and the house is still in the process of being rebuilt. I hope next year I'll be back in my office. What will I be doing on this channel? We live in an age that is awash with information, much of which is useful and valuable, but much of which is misinformation and or poorly founded conspiracy theories. I'll be sharing some of my ideas about how to use critical thinking skills to help sift through the garbage and find the pearls of wisdom, and also how critical thinking and skepticism underpin the scientific method. I may even be dipping my big toe into some philosophy. What I'm hoping this channel will provide is a gateway into science, biology, genetics, DNA, and the practical applications of all of the above, with some concrete and hopefully interesting examples of how they can and have been used to benefit society in general and patients in particular. I'll be covering how we perform DNA sequencing, so working out the order of the nucleotides, the letters of the DNA sequence, the analysis of these sequences, and how we use these in a diagnostics context. We'll also be looking at how DNA is used elsewhere, such as in phylogenetics, so looking at the evolutionary history of life, in paleogenetics, an overlap with paleontology, the study of life in the past, and in forensics. I'm also intending to debunk some of the more egregious forms of science denial and dig into their root causes. Evolution and immunology-related topics such as vaccination are very much in my wheelhouse. Unfortunately, one common source of science denial is organised religion, so I'll also be needing to address that topic. I had a non-religious upbringing and was an atheist before learning any science, and even, for that matter, before encountering the term atheist. The final word of my intro has to be science. What an incredible, mind-blowing, awe-inspiring, meaningful and motivating endeavour it is. In my view, it's humankind's greatest collective achievement. Science is amazing. Scientists are amazing. So let's dive in and explore the how and why together. Welcome to Genetimix.